I did not understand the concept of surrender for the longest time, to the point where I even rejected the concept altogether, because I was trying to understand surrender from an attached energy, from an attached place. And as a result, I really missed out on the magic of this practice, on the freedom, in the power this practice actually provides you. And it's why I'm here having this conversation with you now. It's why we're here doing this live, because I want to be really real, honest, and raw with you, right? I am openly coming on here right now and claiming that I do not agree with some of the past content that I created about rejecting the idea of surrender, because I didn't understand it, right? And let this be a permission slip for you that you can change your mind. You are so allowed to change your mind, to grow, right? To evolve, and to even claim, like, saying something that you no longer agree with anymore, right? I'm like, yeah, I actively do not agree with what I said about surrender, because at that point, I didn't understand it. I thought I did, and that's okay to make a mistake, but I'm like, I didn't. I just didn't have the codes there. And I am so excited to be sitting with you here today and having this conversation. I want to keep this like really like real and raw. I really value like vulnerability in creators that I watch and mentors that I listen to and that I learn from. Like I feel like I can really feel people's like truth and authenticity, and it just makes me like, I feel so connected to them. I feel their words so much deeper when they're honoring their truth and they show up in that energy. So I always want to make sure that I am also infusing my content with that same energy. And yeah, this is something I've been sitting on for a couple of months, not because I'm like holding back on you or anything like that, but I wanted to really fucking embody it. Do you know what I mean? Like I really wanted to like walk the fucking talk before I came here and started like talking about it. And I'm so glad that I did, because like now it's like my codes have come through. I've actually experienced the magic of this energy, and now it's like I can talk about it. And I'm so excited. I'm so excited to be sharing this with you. If you've been like active on Instagram and my email list, then you would have seen that I launched a new masterclass called You're Too Hot to Be Attached. It is so fucking exciting to be launching this experience. I can't wait to be connecting with you live. So if you haven't heard of it, if you haven't seen it, or if you have, this is your reminder. It's going to be a two-part experience. So the first part is the masterclass, and the masterclass is all about surrender, this topic of surrender, letting go. Like, how do you fucking let go of something that you want so badly, and you know that that needy energy there, right, is indicating lack without, right? You know that it's affecting how you're attracting, how you're like what you're attracting and how you're showing up in the world, right? You know it's affecting your growth, yet you can't get out of the fucking need. You know what need is. You know that it's lack, right? You know you're in this energy, but you can't get out of it. No matter what you do, no matter what you listen to, no matter what like podcasts you consume, you cannot fucking get out of the energy of need. That's where this masterclass is literally going to transform your entire fucking life and mindset. I'm literally going to be showing you exactly how to move out of this energy, because I did. And I can't wait. I can't wait to deliver the transmissions that are going to come through in this experience, because I know how much this is going to transform your fucking life. I have goosebumps and butterflies as I say that. And because I really want to like take this home, and like I want you to walk away from this experience like, I know exactly what she's fucking talking about. Let's go. Right? I know exactly how to apply this energy in my own life. I know how to get out of the energy of need now. I know what I need to do. Like, I want you to walk away with all of that clarity so that you can feel and experience this transformation in your life. So I've created a coaching aspect to this experience. So we're going to have a day integration where you're going to let all of the information land from the masterclass, and you're going to just like simmer in it all. And then we're going to join the next day live so that we can do a live coaching call. So I'm so excited because this is your opportunity to get coaching, to put yourself out there, to get personalized support. And I literally just had a conversation with one of my clients before, because it's a coaching day today and I just felt inspired to do this. But I was having a conversation with her, and she had just started in the space, and she's like, fuck, just one day completely transformed my life in this space. And I was like, girl, I know, it's fucking insane. I'm like, just one conversation can literally transform everything. So this is all around just going to be the most transformative experience of your life, if I do say so myself. So right now you actually want to get in because it's the lowest it's ever going to be. It's at $55 AUD at early bird pricing. I know it's fucking insane for what you're getting. So now's the time. If you're feeling the pull, join now. I am putting the price up to 111 next week. So we're going to wait for that energy to land, but it is going up next week. So make sure you get in before then so that you can get it for the lowest price. And eventually the price will be 222. So I'm so excited. And if you have any questions, feel free to DM me. But you can visit the link in my bio for info on how to join the masterclass. So it's going to be there if you need it. But anyway, let's dive into this actual conversation. That's why I'm doing this masterclass, by the way. So if you actually enjoy this conversation that we have today and you're like, I want more, this conversation that we're going to have today is still going to be like transformative. You're going to get so much out of this conversation. But if you want to like dive deeper into this topic and you're like, let's fucking go, then that masterclass is where it's at. So I just wanted to let you know that I am running that. And that is why I'm running that, because of everything I've learned about surrender. And I was like, all right, now it's time to bring this to the community because I can't keep it in anymore. That's my personality. I'm just like, once I've experienced something transformative, I'm just like, everyone needs to know this. It's like such a Leo trait, right? Where you're just like, oh my God, this is transforming my life. This is amazing. And it's like, I need to bring everyone along for the ride so that they can also experience the magic. So I'm so excited. Anyway, let me start from the start. Let's get like real raw. Let's dive into it. I'm going to have a sip first of water. Okay. So where do we start? Where do we begin? Why don't we start? So I've told this story a couple of times on my YouTube, I have a YouTube video going right now, on my Instagram, right, on the podcast. I've told this a couple of times, but I got to this point in my business where I really gave my power away to external things, strategy, what other people were saying, what other people were doing, my mentors, right? It was like everyone was right and I was wrong, and I didn't listen to my intuition. So for so long, I was like listening to my ego. I had a lot of doubt, fears. I wasn't walking as the embodied entrepreneur. I just wasn't showing up, right, for what I was being called to do, which was this business and all of the things, right? And I was really struggling in business. I was experiencing $0 months. There was no momentum. And I just kind of got to this point where I was like, fuck it. Like, I have nothing to lose. I've tried every other way. I've tried strategy. I've tried fixing my sales pages. I've tried all of these things and nothing is fucking working. So what happened? I tried. I'm like, okay, well, I haven't tried listening to myself. I haven't tried going all in. I haven't tried not responding to my ego and blah, 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 blah. So I went on this journey for a while where I was like, I'm going all the way the fuck in and I'm not looking back. I'm not questioning myself. I'm not doubting myself. I'm just going all the way the fuck in. So I did. I went all the way in. I was like, I'm all in. My full self is here. I was on top of this mindset, baby. I was like, nah, no negative thoughts coming in here. Nah, doubt, fuck off. Resistance, fuck off, right? And I was just like, okay, cool. Seeing it, shifting it, seeing it, shifting it. And all of a sudden, momentum started to momentum. Things started to really pop off in my business, in my life, and I was achieving all of these milestones that I was wanting to have so fucking badly for so long, right? It's like the clients were coming through, the money was coming through, I was reaching like my income goals, right? And I was just like, ooh, this is sexy. The momentum was flowing, I was traveling, like all of these things were happening, and I was like, this is exciting, and I'm here for this, and yeah, let's fucking go. And that was the energy that really got me there, right? That got me to that point where like all this momentum started to kick in. And I was like, woo! And then what I noticed is the more and more I started to receive, the more I realized this energy in the background that was trying to hold on. It was very subtle, very, very subtle. But it was like trying to hold on. It felt like trying to keep my head above water. Like I said, it wasn't a very active feeling. It was very subconscious. And in the presence of your desires, it's very easy to just be like, fuck up, I'm doing this instead. Like, this is fun. We're not sabotaging ourselves. We're receiving, right? So it was like I was doing that. So of course, this energy built in the background. Like, this is what I teach, right? It's like when you ignore something, when you resist something, it just comes up to get your attention again and again. So this is what happened. This part of me just kept getting louder and louder and louder and louder. And it got to a point where suddenly I have the experiences that I was wanting so badly. I'm growing. The momentum is momentuming. I'm sustaining results and all of the things. And I'm just like, but why don't I feel free? Like, why do I kind of still feel like I'm holding my head above water? Like, something is wrong here, right? It's like there's something still off within me. It's like, okay, so now things are momentuming and now I'm still feeling the same way that I felt when I didn't have the things momentuming, when I didn't have the business popping off. And then slowly, it's like whenever I would start to see like any sort of dip in my business, in my reality, or it felt like just like nothing was happening, like that moment in between, I was like, I would get anxious. I would be like, why does it feel like I'm being run over by a truck? You know? So I was met with this like a real big reality check. I'm going to be honest, right? Real big reality check, because I realized that I was still so attached to what was happening in my external environment without realizing. So I was able to see that level of attachment when I didn't have the thing, and I used it to propel me forward, and I turned it into power, and I was like, I'm not going to let any of this like define what's happening within me, blah, 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 blah. And I created all of these results, but I was still attaching to an outcome, right? I was like, I'm not going to let this affect me. And I'm still like in my mind, I'm like, but there, there are clients, like, for example, let me give you an actual example. Like I said, I experienced $0 months for a long time. So for me, I was like, I'm not going to let that mean that I can't do this, that clients aren't there. And I attached to the clients being there. So then once the clients started to come through, it's like that just amplified this attached energy, right? That was like, yes, like they're there and now I have to make sure that they're still there and they stay there. And then, it's like, it's very fucking subtle. So it was like in the presence of my desires, this attached energy was still there. And I'm just like, this is not freedom. And I will say, like, I've been aware of attachment energy for a while, and it's something that I've been like breaking in layers. And I feel like just this recent time, it just kind of like the codes really fucking landed, and I really got to like take this home. And now it's like something that I'm like, oh, I get it now. I get it on a whole new level. I get it. Like, let's fucking go. So that's just been my like saying lately. I keep saying it with clients. I'm like, let's fucking go. I need to have another sip. So it was just a really interesting concept to see that even in the presence of your desires, and I'd worked on like not responding to my physical reality for a bit. It's like, but I could see it's like the better it was getting, the more attached I was kind of getting. It was like I wasn't attaching up until a certain point, and then I was like, oh. I was like, oh. Now I'm attached. Now I want to keep it like this, and I want it to stay like this. Will it stay like this? I'm scared. What happens if it doesn't stay like this? Right? So then I would go into that hole. And that's just not the fucking life I'm here to live. Like I never joined the spiritual community. I never took this path to trap myself. The whole reason I did this was like in the name of fucking freedom, in the name of honoring myself, in the name of enjoying life and loving life. Like that was my reason. That's always been my reason, right? It's like for me, my number one priority is my joy, is my happiness. And I just care about that so deeply that I will fucking like do the work to like get to that point. And this is why I say this is my awakening 2.0. Like I've had many realizations throughout my journey, but I was like, no, this is a full, like this topic of surrender is a full taking back your power. Taking back your fucking power. This is personal power. Surrender is personal power. And I'm really excited to talk about that because so many people think that surrender is letting go and giving up, right? Letting go and giving up of your, like giving up your desires. And it is letting go and giving up your desires. And it is stop attaching to this idea you have in your head about what should happen next. But it's not letting go and just allow whatever the fuck to happen. It's a let go and let the universe show you just how good it could actually get. And that's like a concept I didn't really know and experience with surrender until I actually started practicing it for myself, right? Because it's like, if the reason I tried to surrender was because I wanted the universe to show me how good it was going to get, if that was like the reason I went for it, then I would have never actually truly learned the truth about surrender. I would have still been surrendering from an attached energy of, and so long as it gets better, so long as I still get my desires. Like, do you know what I mean? Like that energy would still be leading the way. I had to surrender from an energy of, I just give it up to the universe. This idea of who I am or who I'm meant to be in this life, I give it up. This idea of what my life is supposed to look like or what I think it's like it should look like, what my business should look like, I just give it up to the universe. Because it's too painful to attach my worth, my safety, my happiness, blah, 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 to those things. I had to just do it because it was like my safety, my security, my freedom, my like me, like I had to do it for me. I had to do it for my happiness, my mental health. That's why I truly went on this journey of practicing surrender, letting go of all of these projections I had and truly just coming back to this moment. And I had to get to this point where I was like, I don't know if tomorrow exists. And that's what I want you to hear with this, right? I'm about to tell you the magic that happens when you do surrender, but that can't be your reason as to why you do this. If that is coming up for you where you're like, oh, it gets better. It can get better than this and I can change this reality. Do you know what I mean? Like if that's what's happening, join the masterclass because I'm going to literally help you so fucking much. But it's like if I was joining because of that, if I was wanting to surrender because of that, then it's like that's not true surrender. That's still surrendering based on conditions. There's no such thing, right? You can't surrender based on conditions. It's still attachment. So for me, I cared. I just really cared about my mental well-being. I cared about how I felt. I cared about how I was moving through life. I just cared. I cared. And it was like, I got to this point where I was like, honestly, this isn't worth it if my mental health is like this. If my happiness is derived from something outside of me, if I'm holding my breath, if, you know, I'm not seeing things that I want or whatever the fuck, I'm just like, that's not the life I came here to live. Like that's not the relationship I ever wanted to have with the universe, right? It's like I started this relationship with the universe, with this like creating my dream life because it felt so fucking magical and freeing. And it's like, somewhere along the way, I lost that magic. So yeah, I got to this point where I was like, fuck, if I really, really want to live a happy life and be a happy person in this life and really receive from this life, then I need to let go of every idea I've attached to about what my future should look like, needs to look like, blah, 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 blah. And I was so resistant. I was so fucking resistant to doing that because I kept saying, well, then how can I be sure that I'll grow? And how can I be sure that what I want will happen? Oh, attachment, right? It's like, wow, babe, like that is not fucking freedom. That's not freedom. Sure, I fucking created cool shit from there and I probably could have continued to create cool shit from there, but it was not how I wanted to feel when I got there. It's like, no, I don't want to give any part of me power to my external circumstances, whether it's something that I enjoy or whether it's something that I don't enjoy. It's like, I just want to be able to be in every experience without attaching to it and defining my worth from it and defining my happiness, right? And that's just like a really important principle and practice for me. So I had to surrender it all, surrender this idea, this persona like I created for myself, the spiritual entrepreneur with like the big dreams, the big mission, you know what I mean? I'm just like, I had to just surrender it all. And then I had to grieve it. I did. I had to grieve that part of me and be like, fuck, like if I'm not this, who am I? If I'm not this, how can I be sure my life's going to grow? Like I'm going to change. And it's just like, fuck, you can't. You can't be sure. You can't. And it's that unknown, that uncertainty that the ego is fucking terrified with. It's what I like struggled with the most. It's one of like my deepest wounds in this life. It's like I'm so afraid to let go. I'm so afraid to let go, and I think so many people are. They're so afraid to fucking let go. They're so afraid to let life, to let life show them the way, to let their intuition show them the way. They want to know the answers. They want to know the how. They want to make sure they have this like sense of control, right? Through the actions that they're taking. So yeah, I had to grieve this old version of me, and then I had to grieve the part of me that was attached to the results that I created as well, that was like trying to challenge this concept of surrender, because it was like, dude, what are you doing? We just created insane results. Like, what the fuck? Let's keep going. Let's grow. Let's move. But I just knew, I'm like, there was attachment. It was coming from that attached part of me that was like, don't let go, don't let go, don't let go. I'm scared. What's going to happen if you let go? So I just let go. And through the letting go process, I really experienced presence like I've never experienced it before. Presence to a whole new level. Presence without condition. Presence without, and it gets better from here. It was like, no, I'm not even concerned with what happens next, because I'm so here. I'm so here. I'm in this conversation. It's 111 right now. I'm in this conversation. I'm receiving what this person is saying. I'm on the walk and I'm receiving the walk, and I'm not worrying about what I'm going to do when I get home and blah, blah, blah. I'm fully in it. And I'd experienced like moments of this, and I'd experienced this, and like I was pretty good with practicing presence, I would say, but there was always that like underlying condition in the background, and then, but so it gets better, right? But it's like this time I was living my life through a lens of, I only have today. So I was really like contemplating not even today, I only have this moment, right? That was really what I was sitting with. I'm like, I only have right now. And I was playing with the concept of death to really integrate this. And it was something that I still think about today. And it's a constant reminder for me, right? Because this is a practice, but a constant reminder to be like, you only have right now. I could take this next breath and I could die. So how do I want to spend right now? And I didn't think about this topic in terms of like morbidity or anything like that, right? Like to be morbid, fucking morbid bitch over here. No, I thought about it so that I can really understand what it means to appreciate life. And I think it's the most powerful thing every human should be contemplating, right? In every moment, in every experience, all of the experiences you're resisting, you're fighting against, the conversations you don't want to be, whatever it is, right? You don't want to be a part of. Imagine if you died, like right after that conversation. Would you have like wished that you were more present for that you were in that you received that you like lifed in that, right? You fucking lifed. You fucking lived in that, right? Imagine you were just sitting there wanting to get like move away from it so you could like, you know, fucking visualize your desires or whatever the fuck it is, right? Fuck that. Fuck that. Fuck that. Fuck that. Fuck that. That is not living. That is not life. Not to me anyway. So I had this moment where I was like, I would contemplate death, and then I became so fucking present, and it was like, I could literally not be here in the very next moment. So how am I going to show up for this moment? How am I going to show up for this moment? And for me, I really thought like, I'm like, surrender's going to be like not doing anything, which is another thing people really think with surrender. They think like they're not going to show up for the things that they desire. I'm like, well, all I have is my inspiration and my desires in this moment. And sometimes my desire was like, fucking show up, do this live, create this content, share this piece of information. And it was just like, do it. And then I was onto something else, right? Cook this food, go outside, whatever the fuck it was. And it was just like, that's how I was living my life. And through that, I found true fucking freedom. And suddenly, as I was meeting each moment, it was like, oh, like I could have I could have these abundant experiences in my life and just like breathe. And I don't feel like I was holding my head above water, and I didn't feel like I was like trying to make things happen or anything like that. And then through the surrendering of my desires and really living in the presence of each moment and receiving the abundance and the fullness that each moment has for us. And even in the things that I was resisting, like receiving the gifts from those experiences that I was resisting, because when we're resisting anything in our reality, it's a opportunity for you to see the parts of yourself where you cause separation, lack, scarcity, and like those wounds, right? So it's an opportunity to let go of that part of yourself and deepen into your truest self, which is the part of you that's abundant, that's full, like your soul, right? And just like letting go of that ego self. So I really used each opportunity to like find myself and deepen into myself. And as I was doing this, something amazing started to happen. And I didn't make this happen. This wasn't forced. And I've experienced this in iterations, but I haven't like, fully allowed myself to like walk with this energy. But this is when I realized, oh, I thought it was easy before, but I was like, holy shit. I just entered a realm of like effortlessness. Because when I was like creating from an attached energy, I did create things like really fast. And I was like, oh, fuck, this is easy, right? But it was like still attachment energy, and still like it had this like, it just wasn't fully clean to me. So, but this time it was like, oh, things are happening and I'm not even making them happen. Like painful clients coming through and I just raised my prices. What else happened? I'm like, $5,000 out of literal thin air. Didn't make that happen. I was just like, oh, okay. And then it was just like money coming through here, opportunities coming here. So many opportunities like literally began to fall on my lap. So many invitations to like grow my business. And I was just like, whoa, what is happening? Right? And it was just like little things were just like working out. It's like, I'm trying to think, like just random things. The ETA said I was going to be late. I get there like, 5 minutes earlier than what was said and shit like that. You know what I mean? So it was just like this realization where I was like, wow, the universe really has so much to give to us. And when you have such tunnel vision with your desires, with what you think should be happening next, you're literally blocking all of that abundance from coming into your experience. You're blocking all of that goodness from coming into your life. And I'm talking opportunities that are literally ripe and ready right now, that want to play with you right now. And because you're operating from this place of non-attachment and you've received the experience, but you're not holding on tightly and being like, that has to happen again. It's not like that, right? It's like you just receive it with an open heart and you're like, yay, it just keeps coming. It just keeps coming. It's just like, and I'm just like, whoa, 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 whoa. And that's when I realized your desires should feel like a preference. Because what was happening was, it wasn't that I just entered this state when I fully started to practice surrender that I was like, oh, I don't want anything anymore. I don't, need anything from my reality. Because a lot of people think that. They think that once they entered the surrendered state, they're not going to want anything. They're not going to want to grow. Energy wants to evolve. Energy wants to move. Energy wants to transform. You are energy. You will naturally do those things. You will. You want to. It's in your nature, right? But when those desires come online, it's a preference, right? So it's like oh, that would be nice. That'd be a fun addition to my life, but it's not my reason for fucking living. It's not my why for walking this earth and walking on this planet. It's not that. It's cool. This is my reason for not my reason for living. What am I fucking saying? I'm losing my train of thought now. This is a preference. This is an addition to my life. This is a fun byproduct. And holy fucking shit, life is so fun from this place. And what I've experienced by like working with the universe like this, when I say universe, by the way, I see the universe as your higher self, right? I see it as like each individual's higher self. So it makes sense as to why you end up receiving so much, right? Not only are you operating in this energy of fullness, right? Which makes sense because your cup is fucking running over full when you're so here and present and receiving from each moment, right? Because you're just like, oh, I feel so good. Like I literally feel so fucking good about life, and I feel so good about this moment and what I have and what is, and I'm not resisting anything. My heart is fucking wide open through it all. I'm letting energy pass through. I'm not stagnating. I'm not holding on. I'm not attaching. And from that place, naturally you become a match to more of what you desire, more of what you want. And this is when the or something better comes into the equation, right? Because you might have this idea in your head of what you want your life to look like, but the universe, your higher self, knows what you actually want, what you actually desire, that you might not even know is fucking possible, or you might not even know it's a thing. I want you to think about it think about your life up until this point, right? Think about your life up until this point. Everything that you've created, it's like, think about what's happened and how it's happened. It's like, could you have orchestrated that? No, right? It's like where I'm at right now, I'm like, I had no idea that it was going to get like this. It's so fucking good, and I had no idea. And I honestly had not much to do with it other than like focusing on my beliefs and shit like that, right? It's like all the amazing things. Sorry, my cat is just being annoying. Can you stop that, please? Thank you. Okay. Anyway. It makes sense why you end up attracting what you end up attracting, because you're operating in this fullness. The universe has no choice but to mirror that back to you, because this is a fucking mirror. But then what you end up attracting literally goes beyond your mind, and what you can perceive is even possible for you, and you end up living a much like fuller experience because you're not attaching to every little thing. Because that's another thing, a lot of people like can be attached, right? They attach to the things that they enjoy, right? And then they don't allow more things that they enjoy to come into their experience. They don't allow it to actually get better because they're so attached to the like what they think it needs to look like, right? They're so attached to the result, like the results they have now staying, that they actually don't allow themselves to open to more and to allow the universe to show them actually just how good it can get. So, and that was like really where I was like fucking struggling. So I feel like this conversation is definitely coming to an end. And yeah, I am so excited to finally be like sharing this and having this conversation with you. And I just know that this masterclass and this live Q&A is going to be so transformative, because like I'm like, if there's anything you do, like this is more important than fucking belief work. This is more important than belief work. If you want to be that person who's like constantly co-creating with life and moving with the energy of life and evolving and not stagnating and getting caught in your own like ego shit and getting attached and all of the things, it's like you're not really experiencing life. If you're constantly worrying about the future, what's going to happen next, worried if the past is going to continue manifesting itself and how you're going to handle it if it does, and blah blah blah, if that's how you're living life, you're not free, you're not living, and you're in this illusion of thinking that if you change the external world, then you're going to change. And it's the biggest illusion. It is not true. It is not true in the slightest. It will just amplify more of who you are at the core. If there's anything you do for yourself before the end of this year hits, it's do this masterclass, learn this concept for yourself, really, really commit yourself to learning what it means to live from surrender, and learning what surrender actually is, and allowing yourself to learn what it is, and not allowing your attached self to muck up that concept for you and the magic that is truly, truly available for you when you step into that surrendered state. So if you want to learn how to step into that surrendered state and you want to, like, we're going to fully fucking dive into this concept. I'm literally going to be breaking it up for you, giving you literally everything. I can't wait. Join the masterclass. And yeah, I'm sending you so, so, so much love. Thank you so much for hanging out with me live, and I will see you in the next one.